yes, we are opening doors for admissions now, and welcome to all of you.
Yeah, ma'am. Fatima, good to see you. Can you close?
Sure. So excited about what Shashank has actually spoken about. It's passion, it's bringing in a new age of learning. Very excited about it, considering that the last 20 years have been invested in this industry. It's kind of like bringing in an all-rounder, which we need right now. And I think that's the passion that we are supporting as far as Shashank's vision is concerned, bringing in all elements in.
Sir, you introduce yourself and what
Yes.
you say about it.
So my name is Nikke Keskinen. I'm COO of Mr. Shashank's company, the background company for the school, and also the founding principal of Finland International School Racecourse. This is the fourth country, personally for me, outside Finland that I am working for establishing school or heading it. And if you ask me one thing, what makes us unique, let's say globally, is that we are bringing Finnish education, Finnish pre-primary and primary education curriculum, merging with international baccalaureate IB middle years program, diploma program, and careers program also in the future. So we are really establishing something new and unique in Mumbai.
Super. Shashank,
Yeah,
yes.
so I just wanted to add what Fatima said is, so the entire passion is mine and everything, but it is not achievable without Fatima here. So, and she is required there, then only the entire holistic and the overall development of the school, what we are wanting to achieve will be achieved.
Okay. And what is the future and what is the criteria?
So future
of
is-
Finland.
Yeah, so basically future of Finland education is very simple, is that this is the third school we are doing. We are looking at more and more schools, but not at the cost of quality. So like a lot of people do franchising, we are looking at management alliances where the entire quality of the education the school is imparting is in the control, in our control, and not the franchisor, because when it is a franchise, people start cutting corners and looking to get profits out of it. This is mainly to we are doing this for quality education, so that the next generation or whoever is studying in our school will be happy of what they have learned and take things ahead, and obviously it will help the country as well, but not at the cost of quality.
What is the philosophy of affairs?
So philosophy, I would say, I think Anna could better explain it. Yes.
We want to make sure that the children are the number one in our schools. So Finnish approach is renowned for the child-centered or learner-centered approach, where well-being of each individual child is at the center. We focus on personalized learning paths, so each child can get the support they require to make the most and thrive in the 21st century. Skill development and understanding of concepts are key in our education. I also want to add to what Nikke was saying, that yes, the alignment of the international baccalaureate framework with the Finnish approach is very important, but equally the National Education Policy 2020 is at the like a bottom of what we are doing here. So we are very happy to revolutionize the landscape of educational setting here in Mumbai, setting example, new benchmark to what education is about, and actually also globally we want to be the ones setting example.
How does FIS teaching method differ from traditional school?
Interesting. Essentially, I think what Anna actually spoke about was about learning by doing, which is very different from our traditional approach, which is standardized curriculum. We have frameworks for it. whether it's home economics, whether it's textiles, whether it's arts and craft, whether it's woodworks, you're getting an opportunity to actually build on your skills, which is very different from traditional schools, quite frankly. आप कौन से स्कूल से थे?
I'm from SSC.
SSC ना, तो मैं भी तो ICSE से. We didn't have those opportunities. This is actually allowing children to learn by doing, which is very different from our SUPW kind of thing.
And if I can add to that, the academic subjects are very important, but equally experiential learning. Again, we really want to emphasize each child has their inner passion. We want to bring that up with home economics. We've got woodcraft, we've got textile craft, robotics, all built in our curriculum. So it's all hands-on, but it's also a very rigorous at the same time.
So imagine your child actually picking up a subject and learning because he wants to learn that. And that's Shashank's vision, right? That if he wants to figure out how to build a tower, someone should support him. And that is actually essentially what the Finnish education is.
And multidisciplinary approach to learning is then one answer to the question compared to, let's say, traditional teaching and maybe learning, and then how we want to do it. So multidisciplinary learning is blending all the subjects. So subjects kind of don't come first, but the learning go through subjects.
So
practical knowledge.
Yeah,
Practical knowledge. Oh, acha, what is the temperature today in Mumbai?
35.
35. Huh. Highest temperature?
34, 35.
35. Highest ever?
Highest
57 in what? Not in Mumbai. In Mumbai it would be
38, 39 maximum.
I mean,
Maximum to maximum
no, I
40.
think recently newspaper में आया था the highest temperature was 39 point something in the
39.
past 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
South.
exactly.
In South Mumbai.
So we want the children to know why
Why?
and what can we do. I mean, we know why now. What can we do? And that's really the team working behind
So
it.
if you see this entire this building, we did not construct an entire new building, right? We took a 70-year-old building and refurbished it, right? We are taking care of the environment right from the start. If you will see, none of the interiors has false ceilings, because to get that false ceiling in, the amount of carbon footprint it will have, that is going to make a difference.
And environmental stewardship is one of our values as well.
Big
And that
one,
we want to
yeah.
make sure that it shows in what we are doing,
Yeah.
but also we're expecting the children to be setting the example elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's about also building concept which is acknowledging the ever-changing world. We've got global citizens growing up here with us. We want to make sure that they're culturally sensitive, but also aware of the impact of their own actions.
And when I recruit teachers, I finalize the set of discussion with the question, who is ultimately responsible for learning? Is it teacher, parent, or student? Most of the teachers are answering, it's me, teacher, I'm responsible for learning. But I don't think that's the right question. It should be the student, ultimately. So we need to teach them, make them learn the skills that they need in the future.
And quite frankly, been in this industry for 20 years. I think thanks to Shashank, we have the Finnish way, finally, which talks about all-rounder, which talks about life skills, which talks about learning in a way that will help you, to do whatever you want to do. And you don't have to go to Columbia or a Harvard or an Oxford. But I think what the Finnish education is providing us with is an opportunity to recognize who we really are and what we really want to be.
I think maybe again I will add to what Nick mentioned, that he's worked in many countries before, and I think I've learned about the Finnish approach when I've been abroad. So I've also worked in the UK and in Qatar, in United Arab Emirates, in addition to Finland and now India as well. And something that I really want the children to learn is to think for themselves, not just accept something that's been told as this is what it is.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we also encouraging them to be thinkers, and that aligns very beautifully with the International Baccalaureate framework.
What support services are available for students that begin at FIS?
What support services? We have appointed counsellor as well as special education needs teacher. Additionally, we ensure that we've got small groups when the children are working in, and also co-teaching, so there will be more than one teacher in the room with the students, so that we can truly support each individual with their personalized learning plans.
Also, what happens is when we plan the lesson plans, we have a differentiation. So we recognize the child's talent, and therefore we customize. So it's kind of very, very personalized.
And if there would be any kind of learning support need, or maybe psychosocial need also regarding your growth, we don't want to send the child to someone. So that's why individual class teacher, subject teacher and teacher teams, their own skills also to recognize those support needs early and act and work preventively. It's very important. We don't want to send a child, go to counselor, go to psychologist. We want to work them. They come to the children, they come to the classroom.
And also the teachers get the support. So the teachers are working closely together in order to develop further. And that is one of the big things. You need to be able to support the teachers in their work as well. Not just in the beginning of each term, but weekly and daily in fact.
So, one of the other things is when we talk about all-rounders, Shashank, talk about the association that we have with NSCI.
So actually the thing is that when we're talking about holistic development of the child, right? So in general, in the schools which we have in India and everything, it's basically extracurricular activities, right? In this school, there is nothing called extracurricular activities. Is part of the curriculum. So now all the sports that are there, it is part of your curriculum, part of your study and learning environment. So for that you require a sports complex. So instead of making an entire sports complex, we have a tie-up with NSCI where all the children will be using NSCI facilities. They will be going from school to NSCI and learn the sports and the different activities which we have planned for them. And this is not at any extra fees or anything, it is included in the fees. So you don't have to go anywhere else. It's basically we've given everything in one location.
And sometimes parents ask
so
that when are they having fun, because the school day is seen like boring. And then there are extracurricular activities after the school day. That doesn't make much sense from the students and child's perspective. So the school day is holistic, like Shashank said. It has to have the joy and the happiness and the willingness to learn from morning till the afternoon.
So there's swimming, there's
Badminton, there's football, there is tennis and cricket, obviously, which is there, and swimming and swimming is actually compulsory. So if you'll see, there is once you see the campus as well, so we have a small tank where the toddlers learn swimming. It is a compulsory lesson for the toddlers because it is a life-saving skill, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If there is floods in Bombay, you need to know how to swim. Some point or the other, and I think all of us faced it during the 26/11, the flood time, right? So these are all necessity life skills which the children need to learn.
And when our students will visit Finland, have a field trip in Finland, yes, there are only 5.6 million people in our country, but we have 200,000 lakes. You need to be able to swim.
No cricket.
We have Finnish baseball.
So I'm teaching Shashank cricket, by the way. He's not a fan.
So what standard you are starting this first year?
up to grade 7.
Semester.
Yeah.
From next year.
Yeah, of course, we will introduce, and we are, grade 11 and 12 will be operational from
Next year.
Next year.
25.
August.
August 25.
Yeah, 25. Yeah.
So every year the 7 will become 8 and 9, but we are also opening grade 11 directly in next year August.
Also because of the program, we want to make sure that children have enough opportunity to learn.
So I have two questions. One is for the Finnish board members and one for Shashank sir.
Yes.
So the first one is personal and heartfelt.
Yes.
So as representatives of the happiest country in the world for the 7th time, how do you ensure that the Indian students coming to a Finnish school are happy as per Finnish standards? Because traditionally, as speaking as a former student, we are imbued with this mindset of competitiveness that when you go to school, you don't go for individual growth, you go to win
An opportunity.
win and compare yourself.
I think
So how
Shashank
do you-
can answer.
So I will answer that actually.
I'll just finish my
Yes,
question.
sorry.
So how does your curriculum and your education for 0.1%? So how does this school will like kind of elevate this culture, and secondly, how did your association with the Finnish education system begin?
Yeah, so I'll start with the happiness question first. Though I'm not a Finn, but still I will.
You are very much fit.
You are. He is very much.
So the taglines for the Finland International School is very simple. It's called Happy Learners, Brighter Futures. So if the child is not happy, he will not learn, right? And then the future will not be bright, right? That's the reason we have a tagline, Happy Learners and Brighter Futures. How we ensure that is very simple. In lot of words, everybody explains. So every child is looked upon or taken care of individually, focusing on what they are good at and what they're not good at. So we focus on what they are good at and make them happy, but at the hindsight of the child, we are also working on their weaknesses. So what the major difference between from the schools where we have come from and what we are bringing right now, we've been talking about content learning. That means memory, right? We just talking about content. Here, why Finland is the happiest country is because from the education system itself, they are focusing on concepts, right? When you focus on concepts, you better understand the subject and you actually learn, right? Not memorize it. That makes a very big difference. And then the kind of child support we are giving, the kind of attention we are giving to the child, any kind of, like for example, bullying is also very big. Is a big problem in a lot of schools nowadays, right? Now what happens is when you talk about bullying, we make the child understand that bullying is, we don't call the parent and say that your child is bullying the other person. Here the teachers sit with the children and explain them that this is the problem, because calling up the parents is not going to solve the problem, right? It is making that child understand that bullying is something which is not good for you and for the other children as well. Till the child doesn't understand the concept, there's no point of it, right? What will happen is the child will go home, the parent will shout at the child, and that's it. It just gets worse by that. So there are a lot of things that we've taken into perspective in terms of child support is concerned, and it is not something which we are talking about special needs. I personally feel that recently somebody asked me a question, does my child have to have autism to feel special? I think all children are special, right? So that is everybody, we have to give them child support. And as Anna mentioned, even our teachers also get it. Today when the lockdown happened, a lot of teachers had a problem. So even the teachers in the school get a lot of support in terms of emotionally and whatever is going on at home or anything they require help, the school is there for them.
And also additionally, to talk about what we have been discussing internally as well, is that there are children who are gifted. There are children who are off the spectrum. These are children, you can classify them as Einstein, 140 IQ. But we have a program even for them, which is very important, because I think what Shashank is mentioning is inclusion for every child. Yeah, the high ability, the children who need support, but making sure that the whole community is advancing with the right support. And very excited because Anna and Nikkei have extreme experience in terms of how to deliver that.
And the happiness, thank you for the question, because we are asked that question occasionally. Yeah, 7th time in a row being the happiest country in the world, and we are like blushing and like, oh really? We don't smile all the time. Actually, we smile here more than regularly.
You
I think so.
Smile a lot.
Yeah. So, and we are talking about the children all the time. Everything starts with the child, all that. But then it's also about the teachers.
Yeah.
So the expectation for teachers working in our school is that we want children to fall in love with them pedagogically, the way that, hey, I want to come to school tomorrow again. And teachers make that thing happen. And if that is not there, then we are something else that we don't want to be.
So I had actually a friend of mine who's moved from Singapore. Her daughter is applying to us, and she said she fell in love with the teacher because it was so easy to connect. It was so seamless in terms of a transition, where she shared her fears, and it was received in a way that told her that that's okay, we can sort it out, and you're brilliant. So this is what, if I could sum it up, the Finnish education.
I will still want to add that positive reinforcement, or positively encouraging students to make the right choice, is at the heart of what we do.
Yeah.
So every school year, any class here, the children will be the ones who create their own class agreement. They're the ones who come up with what the class rules are, and then they are expected to be following those, rather than a teacher or a school giving them a list of things, do not do that, and scolding them. This is where we also we make sure that there's the agents, and students have the agency to make the right choices, but then they're also reminded, hey, this is you've come up with this agreement,
and that's your ownership.
Yeah. And one more thing is the breaks and the balanced curriculum as well, because if you're sitting all through the day and the teacher changes and you're just taking up a book, that's not what education is anymore. So it is you need the brain break, and you need also some activities in order to remain happy.
One small follow-up question. So how do you exactly ensure that children come to school to act?
To be honest, that's all what we're trying to do. To make sure that they don't focus on the result. They focus on the process, and that's why the Finnish pedagogy.
And connecting to Finnish education in Finland, actually in our country, the state legislation says that schools' prior task is to support parenthood and parents upbringing their own children. That's in our law book. So how do we as a school want to place ourselves in that family context? So kids need to learn that they can't split. Teacher is saying something, mother is saying something else. So that's our one goal, why we want families to be close to us, and that kind of a homeschool collaboration. That has to be real, not just a fancy word.
Any closing statement if you want to add something?
I think you've asked it.
And if anything you want to add in Hindi, if you have that.
Oh, Hindi.
I have this is the best thing I can do. I love this.
Very Indian traditional. So
Any words, few words into Hindi.
About what we have in terms of a team and what we can bring to Mumbai. And I'm just going to say that it's thanks to Shashank.
No, so I think it's a vision which started 7-8 years back, but I think now with the board here, we have been able to reach somewhere. It's not just me alone, it's the entire team. And truly talking, as Fatima and Nikkei said, the team here enjoys what they do. for them it's not work anymore. So
Yeah.
it might be 2 a.m. at night, or it might be, early morning 5 a.m. If they are passionate about it, they don't they don't find it work. So basically, to answer your question, we are happy. That's why the children will be happy.
Exactly.
Because happiness attracts happiness.
Yeah, and then we communicate at 2 o'clock in the morning as well.
Yes.
Deciding how y'all will receive us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.